Yama, I'm Jack Evans, and you're watching BTN. Here's what's coming up. We get the lowdown on the heist of the century, dive into deep time, and find out about some gross grown-up habits. But first, we're going to find out about rare earths. They were in the news last week after Australia's Prime Minister and the US President signed a deal designed to boost our ability to mine and refine them. Here's Justina to dig into what's going on.
Well, howdy-ho. Didn't you hear? There's a rare earth rush at the moment. Ooh-wee! I feel like we found ourselves some rare earth right here.
Yep, rare earths are what everyone's talking about.
Australia's rare earth minerals deal.
Rare earths.
Rare earths. Rare earths.
Rare earths. Rare earth materials. They're in everything from smartphones to fighter jets, so we need them.
Now, wait a minute. I ain't got a tootin' idea what a rare earth is anyways.
Well, they're here on the periodic table. They're a group of 17 heavy metals, like europium, neodymium, gadolinium, and cerium. And while you may not know their names, you definitely use them. That's because rare earth minerals are crucial for all sorts of technologies. For example, cerium helps polish glass. Gadolinium is used in hospital MRI machines to make clear pictures inside the body. And neodymium makes super strong magnets that are used to power motors in everything from computers to electric cars. But FYI, rare earths aren't really rare.
They're not rare? What?
They're found everywhere throughout the Earth's crust, and we have a lot of them here in Australia. But they've earned the name because they're found in low concentrations, which makes them difficult to mine.
You're telling me? I've been digging up.
Then you need to process what you've mined before you can turn it into something useful. That's also difficult. And it takes a lot of chemicals and can produce some pretty toxic waste, which is why Australia and many other countries export a lot of rare earths to China, which mines and processes most of the world's supply. But recently, China has started to restrict some of its rare earth sales, making some governments nervous that stocks might run low and prices might go up.
The scale of China's export controls scaled up since April is unjustified and harmful.
US President Donald Trump has been particularly concerned.
As you know, our country doesn't have much raw earth. We very much need rare earth.
So he's been hunting for new supplies in Greenland, Canada, Ukraine, and in Australia.
Hold up! I got some right here.
Last week, Australia's Prime Minister and the US President finally met in person and left with a deal.
It's an honor to sign this, and we'll do it now.
Amongst other things, it includes a promise to partner up on rare earths and other so-called critical minerals like lithium and nickel, which are used in modern technology.
In about a year from now, we'll have so much critical mineral and rare earths that you won't know what to do with them. They'll be worth about $2.
The Australian and American governments will spend more than $4 billion boosting mining projects in the US and Australia, and building plants to refine rare earths.
Part of what this is about isn't just digging things up, it's also about processing, including the joint ventures between Australia and the United States.
We still don't know all the details, including how new projects might impact the environment. But many are hoping this boom will bring a boost to Australia's economy.
Like my grandmammy used to say, there's a fortune digging up dirt. No! Woohoo!
I don't like you either. I don't, and I probably never will.
Who was US President Donald Trump talking to here? Was it Australia's Prime Minister, Australia's US Ambassador, or an Australian journalist? It was Australia's US Ambassador and former Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd. The awkward moment came when a journalist asked about some tweets Mr. Rudd sent out a few years ago saying not very nice things about President Trump. Although apparently after the meeting, the president told him that all is forgiven. There have been big celebrations in Uluru to mark the anniversary of the site being handed back to the Inanu people. When did that happen? In 1965, 1985, or 2005? It was in 1985.
The old people got it back. My father and others, Kingfisher now, those old people.
There were also celebrations in London, where the king joined the site's traditional owners to celebrate the handback and the dedication of the Inanu people. This mysterious object was found smouldering near an iron ore mine in remote Western Australia. What do authorities think it is? Part of a plane's engine, an esky that was filled with fireworks, or part of a Chinese rocket? They've linked it to a Chinese rocket launch, although it could be a while before they know for sure. One of the biggest news stories last week came from Paris, France, where the world-famous Louvre Museum was robbed in broad daylight by a gang of thieves. Here's Tatenda with more.
It's one of the world's most famous museums, home to ancient sculptures, historic works of art, and of course, this famous lady. But last week, it was the scene of a heist. A gang of thieves broke into the Louvre in broad daylight and made off with some of France's crown jewels.
It's certainly increased our fascination with the area.
Yeah, it almost sounded like a movie.
Just like a movie.
The robbers dressed as construction workers and used a mechanical ladder to reach the balcony of the famous Apollo's gallery. They came in through a window and used power tools to break into 2 display cases. And then took 8 items, including a diamond and pearl tiara, a sapphire and emerald set, and a diamond-encrusted brooch. Before making their getaway, dropping this diamond and emerald-encrusted crown along the way. The whole thing took just 7 minutes. All up, the jewels are estimated to be worth around 157 million Aussie dollars. But really, they're priceless because they were a big part of French history. They were all from the 19th century, and some belonged to the wives and relatives of Napoleon, the famous military general and later Emperor of France.
Imagine if someone stole the crown jewels in Britain. Do you realise who it hurts? Well, it hurts the French as well as people abroad.
The robbery is being dubbed the heist of the century, but it wasn't the Louvre's first famous theft. Back in 1911, the Mona Lisa was stolen by museum worker Vincenzo Peruggia, and it actually took nearly a day for someone to notice it was gone. Vincenzo hid the masterpiece in his apartment for nearly 2 years, until he was caught trying to sell it in Italy. While the Mona Lisa is safely back in her place, experts say it's unlikely the stolen jewels will have such a happy ending.
Right now, it's a race between the police and their investigators and the criminals who are trying to hide the evidence of their crime.
Because the jewels are so famous, it'll be hard for the thieves to sell them. So experts say they'll probably be cut up.
Once they're been cut into smaller jewels, the deed is done. It's over. Well, we'll never see these pieces again intact.
It's left many wondering how security at the Louvre could have failed so badly.
We were in the museum. We also thought that the security was very low.
Sounds like an inside job or something, you know, that they must have had some sort of knowledge of the interior. So, yeah, pretty nuts.
The museum's director admitted the security cameras weren't working properly and that the only camera covering the balcony was facing the wrong way.
In essence, we did not detect the arrival of the thieves early enough.
While the Apollo Gallery is still closed, the rest of the Louvre is open to the public again, with tighter measures in place to hopefully keep the rest of the museum's precious artifacts safe.
The Louvre was originally built as what? A fortress, a prison, or a school? It was a fortress. King Philip II began building it in 1190 to protect Paris from the British who controlled Normandy. It was later rebuilt as a Renaissance palace before being converted to a museum in 1793. Now we're going to explore Deep Time. That's the name of an online resource that's just been released by the ABC to help tell the story of this continent since the arrival of its first people 65,000 years ago. Let's find out more about Australia's epic history. 65,000 years, that's a really long time. It's kind of hard to imagine how long that actually is, but let's try. Let's say one step is 250 years. That's when Lieutenant Cook arrived at Botany Bay. So between here and here is your life, your parents' life, your grandparents' life, your great-grandparents' life. You get the point. 11 steps and I'm at about 2,800 years, or the start of ancient Greek civilization. Another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm at 5,100 years, or the start of ancient Egypt. And then 2 more steps, and I'm at the beginning of the Mesopotamian civilization. But let's keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 65,000 years, when it's thought that the first people arrived in the continent that we now know as Australia. It's also quite far away from where I parked, so I better start walking back. The oldest known evidence of humans in Australia comes from here. Mudjabibi Rock Shelter in Arnhem Land in the Northern Territory. Archaeologists say tools found here date back 65,000 years. Other sites like Murajuga in Western Australia show engravings from at least 40,000 years ago.
There's rock out there, there's a dance, we still do it today. They done thousands of years ago, we still do it today.
First Nations people also share stories about things that happened in the deep past. For example, in Victoria, the Gunditjmara people have a creation story about a creature named Budge Bim. That took the form of a volcanic eruption.
The story begins with the eruption of Budge Bim, the volcano, back in around about 37,000 years ago. The story also talks about the scoria that come out of it, and the lava was about this being revealing its teeth.
All the lava that you do see is all of his blood and all of his teeth that followed the landscape right out to the ocean. So it's 50 kilometres out to the ocean, and he changed the whole landscape to what it is today.
Speaking of which, the landscape has changed in huge ways over the past 65,000 years. For starters, 20,000 years ago, Australia was connected to Papua New Guinea and Tasmania, as part of the continent we call Sahul.
You could walk the entire eastern coastline all the way to the Bassian Plain, which is the Bassian Plain, or the land bridge as it is known, pretty much went straight from the northeast of Tasmania all the way through to Victoria.
First Nations people lived through ice ages, extreme droughts. Oh, and they would have lived alongside megafauna.
It's hard to, as modern humans today, to imagine what it must have been like to live with things that were 5 times the size of you.
It's thought that megafauna even made its way into stories that we still hear today. Have you heard of a bunyip? Some people think it could be based on a diprotodon, a giant wombat that became extinct 40,000 years ago. It's all pretty amazing to think about, and something many say is worth celebrating.
Aboriginal people, we're the oldest living culture in the world, and that means something to us. That's a badge of honour for our people. But it should be celebrated too by everybody that's here in Australia.
You can follow our links to the Deep Time website or go to abc.net.au/deeptime if you want to know more. There are stories and knowledge from throughout the country and throughout history covering a whole range of topics.
Hi BTN, we're watching you from Mount Darrigan Primary School. Woo!
Now for those gross habits I told you about earlier. A recent report has found that quite a few Aussie adults don't wash their hands after going to the loo, which is yuck, but also dangerous according to experts. Here's Justina with more.
Any questions?
No.
Yeah, most of us don't need the hand washing police to tell us that.
After the toilet, I always wash my hands.
I wash my hands most of the time.
Yeah, every time I wash my hands.
But it turns out a whole bunch of adults aren't quite as good at it as they should be. A recent survey by the Food Safety Information Council found that 28% of men and 18% of women said they didn't always wash their hands after a pee. And a lot of people admitted they didn't always wash their hands after a poo either, which is kind of a problem. You see, washing your hands is one of the most important things you can do for your health and the health of other people. You could say this is one of history's biggest medical breakthroughs. See, up until 200 years ago, people had no idea what germs were. They used to think diseases were spread by demons or witches or even bad smells. It wasn't until 1846 that this guy, Dr. Ignaz Philipp Semmelweis, noticed that when doctors touched sick people or dead people and then went straight to delivering babies, new mums were more likely to get sick. So he had a radical idea, getting them to wash their hands. Florence Nightingale, a nurse in the 1880s, also saw the importance of hand washing, making it mandatory at the hospital she worked at and saving lives. Eventually, we realised what germs were and how they spread. And by the end of the 20th century, experts around the world started to get serious about hand hygiene. And of course, a few years ago, we all got a big reminder thanks to COVID. But experts say we could be doing better. Not only are we skipping the soap after going to the loo, the survey found that 43% of men and 39% of women admitted they didn't always wash their hands before handling food.
There's a lot of food poisoning out there. It's an estimated it costs, and this is a huge number, $8 million a year of people getting sick in Australia alone.
Lydia says even if your hands look clean, they could still be carrying a whole lot of microscopic germs, especially if you've just been to the loo.
And that is really dangerous because fish, official name of poo, is full of harmful bacteria and viruses and even parasites that can have long-term effects. So it can make you quite ill.
So make sure you wash and make sure you do it right. Don't splash and dash, soap slap, or water soak.
I think the best way to wash your hands is to first use soap and really scrub it.
Maybe count to 20 seconds.
And then after you wash it and then dry it with a paper towel or a towel.
Australia is about to become the first country in the world to ban social media for kids under 16. And we want to know what you think.
For me, social media is a way that I usually get my news.
I can't talk to all my friends now. It could help a lot of people.
I think that it will bring people closer together.
Head to the BTN website and fill in our social media ban survey. And we'll give you the results in December in our special episode all about the ban.
But they shouldn't just ban it completely, because us teenagers, we can do anything.
Oscar Piastri has lost the lead of the Formula One Drivers' Championship as teammate and title rival Lando Norris stormed to victory in Mexico City. It was Norris's 6th win of the season, while Piastri has missed out on a podium place in the past 4 races, chipping away at the Aussie's 35-point lead he had back in April.
I've been driving exactly the same as I have all year. It's just that these last couple of weekends, the car or the tyres or something has required quite a different way of driving.
The Matildas have won a friendly against Wales with Sam Kerr. And while she missed her chance to send Courtney Nevin's free kick toward the goal, it didn't matter.
The forward run from Sam Kerr.
While Wales found the goal in the second half, Caitlin Ford sealed the deal for the Tillies in the 85th minute. To AFLW, where North Melbourne are making history. They've now won 23 games in a row after beating St Kilda by 46 points.
Snaps it through for another North major.
The win also secured them their second straight minor premiership. Their run of 23 wins equals Geelong's winning streak in the VFL from way back in 1953. North Melbourne will have a chance to break the record in a top-of-the-table clash with Hawthorn on Friday.
Finally today, we're going to meet a young surfer with a big future. Kelia is 12 and lives in Tahiti, where she recently became the youngest person ever to compete in the World Surf League. Wren caught up with her to find out what it was like.
Kelia, it's so wonderful to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
And I hear you're a pretty good surfer.
Most people say that. Yeah.
Because you just competed in the World Surf League, which is a massive competition. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, the World Surf League is a championship tour, which is very complicated to get on.
Grabs the rail, showing off that technique. Look at that stall!
How did you get chosen?
They do a little contest called the Trials here, and the winner of that gets a wild card into the event, but they've never had it for the girls, so this is actually the first year where they have it for the girls division.
She's 12 years old and she has got this absolutely dialed. How did you go at the comp? How did you go?
I got a little unlucky with the size of the waves. It was a little bit too big, like definitely out of my comfort zone. And in my first heat, I had Molly Picklum, which literally is a world champion now, and she actually won the event.
Look at this thing, drops in, it's a big barrel, it spins and she comes out. Molly Picklum.
You were the youngest competitor ever, right?
Yeah.
For her to be able to drag that whole side of the body into the wave face, I mean, that technique, it takes some people years to sort of figure out. How did you get into all of this? Like, when did you start surfing?
I started at like 3 years old, maybe.
Good morning, Surfing World. This is Miss Teahupo'o reporting live from the spot.
It was mostly for just living life in like the ocean and not just cooped up in like a house or in a building or something.
What are your favorite types of waves to surf?
Turn waves, or like you try to do maneuvers on them, which is going up, more surfing up and down the wave. While as if barreling waves, they suck out and then they barrel, and then you have to like get tucked in and tight to be in there and then come out. Personally, I would like front side barrels. They're just fun, and we don't have them too much here, so.
How do you prepare for a competition like the World Surf League? Like, what do you do?
I mean, I surf here at the reef at Teahupo'o, but I really try to practice even more before that contest to be ready for anything.
Do you get nervous when you're about to surf a wave and everyone's watching?
I was nervous in the CT mostly because of the size. Honestly, I didn't really care about the people because my dad was telling me before that, like, hey, no pressure, just like go into the contest and like surf, and then whatever happens, happens, I guess.
What advice would you like to give for people who are interested in potentially, doing something like what you're doing?
Try to like get better every day, I guess. Just surf and have fun.
Well, that's all we've got for you today, but we'll be back next week with more. And if that's too long to wait, you can jump online to check out more stories and specials and quizzes. There are also resources for your teachers there too. And if you can't wait for BTN, you can catch Newsbreak every weeknight right here in the studio. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.